Hey guys, it's Matha here once again with a last little build video for the Affliction League. It took a bit of work getting back into Path of Exile after having like a month off, but yep, came back for the end of Affliction League just to farm out some more challenges because I am very lazy when it comes to challenges. As I just like to play the game the way I like to play it and not go out of my way for content I don't currently want to be doing, and that results in a fuck ton of challenges being left at the end of the league. I was at 25 out of the 38 that I wanted to hit, and I decided to just make a whole new character in the form of an elemental buzzsaw, which is a term I use for spectral throw that has this type of MTX on it. So it's a spectral throw Deadeye, pretty similar to a previous Dex stacking spectral throw Deadeye I have done in the past. I don't know, a year or two ago, something like that. I did want a build that I knew was going to be pretty reliable, pretty safe, and could do a lot of challenges and just have smooth, buttery gameplay. So I just built a quick spectral throw, and I also wanted to use a replica Covenant for the first time this league. I had one in my stash the entire league and thought, fuck, would be nice to use this thing for some reason, and here we are finally using it. It gives you level 29 added cold damage as a free support gem, so it's a 7-link chest, and then the big penalty on it is that it costs added energy shield for your attack equal to mana at twice the rate, and it is quite the penalty, I'm gonna say. It was not comfortable having to deal with it, and it is certainly a bit of an issue, even though this skill does not cost a super large amount of mana or anything. Yeah, I had to spec Eldritch Battery, I had to spec a bit of recharge nodes. I do have some energy shield leech, I do have instant leech, and at the end of the day, it's still fucked. I'm still not comfortable on my mana or energy shield on certain situations. When we're talking just like pure single target, something like that, I will run out of the potential to attack after just a few seconds. So it is a rough item to build around. It's certainly doable, maybe on something that's not going to be quite as spammy, maybe on something that can get a lot more energy shield regen or leech or something, so like an Inquisitor or a Trickster or some shit. Stuff like that quite likely will have better results with the Covenant, but it is a lot of extra power. Level 29 added cold is like 50% more damage or some shit to this build. But it's a Dex stacking Deadeye, so it is a pretty classic amount of extra cold for the claw that gives you 2 to 4 extra cold per 10 dexterity. I have something like 1600 dexterity on the character, even with that chest slot being unoccupied by dexterity stuff. And then I'm just running Tincture, which gives me shock and a bit of cold pen, so it's not anything too game breaking in terms of power from the Affliction League mechanic, because charm slots can be pretty big, but yeah, all the same, it's still a Tincture, it does still help. But this gameplay should look pretty similar if you're doing almost any good spectral throw build. Now, I have done it in the past as well as a starter into more of an advanced build, so if you want to do that, you can check that out. I don't remember exactly what league that was, maybe about a year ago. I started out with spectral throw and then tried to transition it into a bit of a more endgame spectral throw, but it still didn't go all the way into a Dex stacking one. That's the kind that you do if you sit on a spectral throw for long enough and then want the probably the ultimate version of that build, because Dex stacking does seem to be pretty tough to beat for just raw damage. Int stacking can do it too, Energy Blade can probably do it too, but yep, this is just a nice little Dex stack once again. And spectral throw, yeah, it felt really clean after coming back to it for first time, I don't know, 6 months to a year, something like that. The gameplay is very fluid with a fast character. You don't have to whirl around too much. You can just run from pack to pack, throw out a fuck ton of spectrals, and yeah, on the return they'll also do some big damage. The only other big thing is that Sniper's Mark gets a bit of a nerf for this type of a character, which isn't a huge deal. Like, you know, they'll take a bit less damage, certainly, but then on top of that, you'll split out less proj, which for this type of a build does not matter, so that should be okay, I think. And then this is an example of what the skill looks like without the golden MTX. This is just the claws that I've got on. It does throw the claws that you have and look something like this. It's certainly better on the visibility front because especially with the current Sun MTX that I'm wearing, once you start doing the sirrrr spectral throw, it gets really bright and yeah, hard to see anything. So for visibility, for boss mechanics and stuff, the spectral throw with the sniper's mark, pretty fucking horrible, not gonna lie. But overall, gameplay, super clean, super fluid, good character to farm out all my challenges on. Did a bunch of end games as Uber Maven and farmed a lot of Guardians, and I'm pretty sure I can do all the Ubers if it needed to. But yeah, with that said, let me just go ahead and show you how I built the character real quick. Alright, so real quick, nothing too crazy. Level 95, took like almost no fucking time to do it. I don't know, something like that. Did a bunch of bosses, did a bunch of challenges. Pretty good all-round character, or just spectral throw in general, still pretty good and all-round. This much dexterity, this much life and stuff, and I don't know, near suppress cap and a bunch of evasion shit, who knows. Based around dex stack, like I said, 2 to 4 cold damage, made this weapon. Got pretty lucky on the suffixes, as always, pretty easy to make the prefixes, just the right amount of investment. It might be tougher in the future with veiled orbs being different, I don't know. Jesus Christ, 14 divines for that thing. At the end of the league, the prices get very fucking crazy because there's almost no one online selling anything. Other than that, also Replica Covenant is what we were doing. Level 29 added code. 200% ES cost. It's pretty fucking messy, but it might be doable on some characters. On this one, it was kind of tough, as you can see. It sustains well enough, but then when you're actually attacking with all the proper extra attack speed juice, it gets very difficult indeed. This hideout takes a long time to load into for the first time, and yeah, it's going to be an issue this next league, I think. We'll see how we go, I suppose. Sick. So, a bunch of deck stacks. So what you're doing is just spamming cold essences until you hit the cold damage mod, and then locking prefixes, doing Veil Orb, getting that, locking prefixes again, doing a harvest speed roll, and then just slamming with an exalt for a suffix, and I happen to hit dexterity. So yeah, not a realistic claw to copy, but it was pretty lucky and easy for me to craft this one. Other than that, yeah, I just kind of did whatever I needed to put a character together so that I'd have a functioning character that can start doing some challenges and shit. Dex Fracture with Harvest Chaos rerolls. That was with Essences, I believe, and it's a previous character's ring. That was with Essences, just a Dex implicit belt, and then using Dex Essences until some good stuff happened. Likewise with that one, exact same method. Usual boots, some gloves I bought for like 1 divine that just have some suppress and stuff, and then some pretty crap shield, to be honest, that has a fractured suppress, and then I just used attack or speed rerolls. Can't remember, speed rerolls on Harvest to get a dexterity and then some prefixes. Nothing special there. And then a hat, Fractal Thoughts, that has a bit of reserve stuff, which did end up being pretty necessary to fit in all the auras I wanted to fit in. Without that, actually, I just wouldn't have had precision, I think, because yeah, I did have enough in the end to manage to just sneak in an extra precision. It's mostly about the passive tree that gets some dexterity and some stuff, cold and dex, and one cluster that does a bit of something, blanketed snow, storm rider. So that's where we get power charges, bit of extra damage. That which was taken, which you're no longer going to be getting, I don't think, gives some power charge crit. That was the main point of that one. Small cluster for some reservation, so I needed this reservation shit so that I could fit all the auras in. And then otherwise a brutal restraint that just does some dexterity and stuff. Crit, dex, flask, attack speed, nothing. Dex, there you go. So some amount of dex, nothing too huge. And then up here to get to Eldritch Battery and also Leaf Shade. And the links that I was running were Spectral Throw, Damage on Full Life, Ele Damage with Attacks, Cold Pen, Hypothermia, and Energy Leech. Red Sniper's Mark, I was self-casting it instead of using Mark on Hit. I did use Mark on Hit for a while, but in the end, I just preferred self-casting on things that really mattered, as, you know, quickly as I needed to. Herald of Ice, Grace, Haste, and Purity of Elements up here. Frostblink, Whirling Blades, faster attacks, and then empty boots and gloves for the Ascendancy thing there for extra movement speed and extra life. But you could otherwise do more things, like an Ancestral Protector. You could fit in a Blessing, you could fit in, I don't know, something, whatever. I don't know. Don't really need to do much of a build guide. You've seen past Spectral Throws, and they do still exist. Probably going to be just as relevant to look at like my last deck stack build as this one, given that things change from this patch to the next one quite dramatically in some ways, for crafting potentially, for tinctures, you know, all kinds of stuff. But that was the last character of the league. I will then post a video tomorrow on reviewing all the characters for the league, which I'm going to have to kind of change the rating system on a bit, I think, because Affliction was pretty crazy with what you could get and what was available to you throughout the league. Yep, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.